Welcome to Smarter Circuits. I'm your host, Ian Klein. This is part 3 of the second episode, so if you haven't already done so, you may want to watch the first 2 parts. They are linked in the description. I won't be using any styling or UI design in this application, just a simple button and text element to demonstrate the principles for connecting to the API from the first and second videos. Let's begin.
First, we'll install Apache 2. Now we need to remove the existing node installation on the Raspberry Pi so that we can install the correct one. We'll get the node distribution that we want, expand the package, navigate into the directory, and then copy all of the files recursively into user local. Now if we check the versions, it should reflect the newer version. Now let's go ahead and install the Angular command line interface. Now we'll create a directory to store our new app. We'll use ng-new to start the project. I'll select CSS. Now we'll navigate into the directory and serve the project. I'm using host 0000 here so that I can navigate to this from another machine. Now we navigate to our IP address at port 4200, and we'll see our fresh application. Now we'll use ng-build to create the files we need to put in our web directory. Now we'll create a new endpoint so that we can get our circuit state. Open up api.py that we created in the first video and define a new route. We'll call it states and give it a method. We'll create an object to store our state. Well, it's a dictionary really. We'll iterate through our directory, which means we need to import OS. Now we'll check to see if our file is a JSON file and make sure it has circuit state underscore in the name. We'll split the name in order to get the address. We want what comes after the underscore but before the period. Now we'll open the file. And load the JSON into a circuit object, which we will append to our state collection by its address. And then we'll simply return the states collection. Now let's go ahead and import JSON. And now we can restart our API. If we navigate to the states endpoint, we see our circuit. You may want to watch how to create the API and monitor programs in the previous videos. Now let's create an API service in our Angular SPA. We'll import the appropriate components. Create our API service class. We'll give it a base URL, create our constructor, pass in our HTTP client, and set our base URL. Now we'll need to store some options to pass along with our requests. And we'll just create some empty HTTP headers and HTTP params. Now we'll create a method to return our states. We'll make a GET request to our states endpoint. And we'll catch any errors we get back. Let's go ahead and create a way to handle the error. And we'll just log it for now. Now we'll create our home component. We'll create the TypeScript file and the HTML file. Import our necessary components. Tell it that this is the home. Point it to our template. We'll create the home component class. And we'll give it a states object to store the circuit states. Now we'll create our constructor and pass in our API service. Use the getStates method. Return a promise. And then store the returned message in our states object. Now we'll go over to our template and we'll iterate through these states. And display the key. We'll get rid of all of the pre-created code. Let's go back into our app module and we'll register the client module as well as the home component. Declare the component, import the module, I'm just going to give this a header just to make sure I can see the change readily. Let's go ahead and add our route. Let's check our API. We need to add our cores exception here. And we'll just create this for all endpoints and all origins. And let's go ahead and import our Flask cores library. Restart the API. And there we have it. Now, announce is there because of the way we structured the topics, so we'll go ahead and ignore that. So let's add a check here to see if announce is in the address. And we'll just skip over it if so. Now we'll restart the API again. And there you have it, our one circuit. Now we want to know what the actual state is. So we'll check the first relay. And now we can see that it's on. Now we'll add a button so we can toggle the circuit if we wish. We'll give it a method. We'll pass in the key and current state. Just call it toggle. And go back to our TypeScript file and create our method. Give it our arguments. This is a string and a string. Now we'll set our command state. Then we'll go over here to our service and we'll create a way to send the command. We'll send a GET request to the base URL and our endpoint, and then pass the command and catch the errors. Now we can go back and use our send command method. Send this like we would any other command, replacing the underscore with space for the circuit name. Give it the state. And we're not going to do anything with the message right now. Now let's move this into its own method so we can call it after the fact. Oops, and this is wrong. There we go. Yep, we have a problem. Okay, it sent the command and it toggled the state. Let's check it. Well, it tried to send the command and it didn't toggle the state. So what happened? Let's restart the monitor. There we go. It did set the state. All right. So why? I see what the problem is. We're using the address and not the circuit name. And then back over here, and we'll give it our label that we just gave it. We should be able to toggle the state. There we go. Okay, so it did toggle the state. It's just not updating because we need to delay the status call. So we'll just do this. It's ugly, but it works. There we go. Our circuit now switches on and off, and we can see the state on the interface.
So there you have it, a smarter circuit. Imagine that. And I made a video without tangenting for 20 unintentional minutes. I know there are a lot of instructional videos out there, and many are far better than I can produce, but I hope this has been both entertaining and educational. I hope you're thinking about ways you can use these marvelous devices to improve your life. In the next few videos, I'm going to talk about setting up switches with these relays, including how to wire up and detect the momentary switches from the old low-voltage lighting system, and using these relays in conjunction with motion sensors, light sensors, and some clever coding to make sure you always have light when and where you need it, and not where and when you don't. I'm working on getting the site up, but it's going to take a little while since I want to put some real-time data from the prototype system on there, and I want to make sure you hard-hitting hackers out there don't start screwing with my garage doors. See how I snuck that upcoming video topic in there? Again, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, if you did enjoy it and haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to know what's going on between episodes, you can follow Smarter Circuits on Twitter @CircuitsSmarter. And if you'd like to help make more and better videos possible, consider becoming a patron on our Patreon page linked below. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I do hope you'll join me for future videos as I explore building smarter circuits.